Recording. Good morning, Asta. Good morning, Tasneem.
Hi, good morning.
You're always
Hi.
early. You're always on time, Tasneem.
Yeah, I'm really committed to timing.
That's good. That's good. Hi, Asta. You're good?
Yes, I'm good. How are you today?
I am having my second cup of coffee, so I'm good. Let me see if we can play some music. No, maybe not today. What? Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hope you all had a good day. Sorry, no music today. I still have some sound issues with my computer. And we're having a few participants here, so I'm still going to give the others a minute or two. And I want to say it publicly. I appreciate Tasneem's and all of yours timeliness. Very much appreciated. Dema as well, always there on time. Okay. And Kim, of course. It's a sunny day here in San Francisco. Fall is our summer, and it looks like another warm day. San Francisco is always very cold and foggy during July, late June, July, and August. So now it's really nice. So let me get started. Day 2 of module 5, and that means we're nearing the end. One more week. So this is the last session for this week. Then you will have a long weekend, a 3-day holiday weekend. And then you'll have Sunday and Monday, as well as Tuesday during the day to put everything together. As we say in English, now is the time when the rubber hits the road. So now you have to put all the pieces together. We're probably not, no, I know that already. We won't have enough time, partly because of some of the delays moving through the process. And I try to accommodate each team's pace. So we won't have a time to really think more specifically about how might you implement your solution or the prototype of your solution in your organization, or how might you do it after this exercise. As I always call it, it's kind of easy to design solutions for a challenge. The more challenging part is to take it home, meaning to bring an idea, a new solution or a prototype of a solution into an organization, and then get support from top down and also support from bottom up to implement it, to try it out. That's quite often the very difficult thing. So having said that, presentations will be a week from today, next Tuesday, the 28th, and I will share with you some details today, as well as Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday during the day. I want you to continue to refine your prototypes and also start planning and preparing for the final presentation. I know that a lot of you probably feel that we don't have enough substance to really do a good presentation. That's my opinion, to be honest. But we have done a lot together. It might not all be on sprint base. It might be in your notebooks. Some of it might still be in your heads. So now is the time to get all these pieces together and share it in a compelling and what am I looking for? Convincing way to the rest of the group, but also to the panel. We're starting out with 2 hours of design thinking or working in teams this morning, and then Keith Streer from NVIDIA will be joining us for the final hour, the 3rd hour, and he will be sharing with us his thoughts about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we're going to be active for the first 2 hours when you have still a lot of energy. And then we'll be doing a little bit of listening for the final hour. Okay, so presentations. Next Tuesday from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock your time. So we still have a full 3 hours for the last day. We start out with the final presentation. I forgot who that might be. And then starting in the 2nd hour, we'll do the presentations. Each team will have 15 minutes total presentation time. And that includes 12 minutes of presentation and 3 minutes of Q&A. Now, remember, I'm German. Germans are punctual. I'm kind of kidding because I've been away from Germany for too long and I spend too much time in South America, so my timing is not as German as you might imagine. But I'll do my best to keep you within the time limit because this is going to be a professional presentation, and these are the parameters. And Tim was able to invite the following panel. You know these names, I'm sure. And you will be presenting for them. And since all of you have selected a challenge related to SIDF, SIDF will be has been your client. And you are basically giving a professional presentation to your client. So what that basically is, you think of it, you being a consulting design team that SIDF hired, paying you lots of money. And now, after 5 weeks of field research and analysis and synthesis and prototyping and testing, you will be presenting to your client your solution. And what that means is that you need to do a couple of things, and I will go over this, but it will have to be a very professional presentation, convincing, because you want to not sell, but you want to show your client that this is a compelling solution to a pressing challenge. So what are we looking for? Now, these are not assessment rubrics per se, as I might use in a course at Stanford or in another educational setting. But these are things that we are hoping to see that will come through your presentation. So we want to make sure that there is a very strong emphasis on empathy. So human-centeredness is expressed through descriptions of human emotion, physical necessities, surprising insights, and/or needs on the part of the user. So I have mentioned this far too many times. I probably sound like a broken record. Human-centeredness, empathy, focusing on the user. We, the panel, needs to hear that, needs to see that's what you have been doing. And again, not everything might be nicely organized on sprint base. That's fine. It's an ambiguous process, but tap into all the findings, the interviews, the notes that you took, the discussions that you had, and make sure that all these feed into your final presentation. Defining the challenge. Now, the original challenge, we spent some time trying to, as teams, trying to identify that you felt was necessary for the organization, but also that you felt passionate about, interested in. And so the original challenge is clearly defined and then reframed around a user where needs are stated as verbs to describe an activity or desire for an area where that particular user needs help. Again, I want you to really think hard about telling your story from a user's perspective. Some of you might still think about a higher level process map, but do your very best to bring it down and relate it to the users, the key stakeholders in your process map, in your framework, in your experience that you are in your program, whether it's a training program or improving the ecosystem or improving communication and collaboration within the ecosystem. The reframing, meaning going from a high level, how might we challenge definition to a lower level specific user-centric challenge definition, also using how might we, but very specific related to the user's perspective, needs to be compelling and also contain novel needs that you have and insights that you have been able to uncover. Idea generation, brainstorming, ideation, whatever you want to call it, it's that divergent process of taking action on the well-defined problem statement and then coming up with lots of ideas. I would hope to see a large, diverse range of ideas and concepts, ranging from maybe the practical to the crazy difficult. Remember the horses, the dark horse that I shared with you. Bring all these elements that you have worked with, but also the concepts and some of the techniques that I have shared with you. Bring those into the presentations. It's not too late yet. You still have 1 week. And then also talk about the process as you went through the design thinking process. How did you select the ideas for prototyping, for example? Speaking about prototyping, what are the prototypes that you have created? And how did you learn from sharing your prototypes with your users, which hopefully you have done over the past 2-3 days or the last couple of days, ever since we got into prototyping and ever since I have encouraged you or emphasized the importance of getting feedback from the user? How has that feedback impacted your iteration, your refinement of the prototype? Team. Now, this was a team effort, has been and will continue to be. I have not been able, as I usually do when I am in a physical space, I can see the dynamics, I can listen into the conversations of teams. I have been able to do this sporadically. I can also use the analytics of Sprint-based to see who was active in terms of posting and using the technology to collaborate with others. But as much as possible, we want to see that this is a team effort and that you worked well as a team, that you built upon each other's ideas, that you taught each other, that you listened to each other's. anything that you can share that helps us recognize the importance of having a good team. Remember, the first week we spent quite some time on what does it take to build innovative teams. We talked about psychological safety. Now, these are not just concepts that I throw up on a slide and some activities that I engage you with in online. These are really absolutely crucial mindsets and skills to have as you move forward as a cohort of design thinking champions. And you need to practice those skills and mindsets on a continuing basis. Storytelling. Now, especially during the presentation, but in general, storytelling is so important and valuable for design, because it's through stories that you can convey needs and feelings of users. Storytelling, quite often when you think about a presentation or when you think about an experience, you might not remember facts or slides that someone shared with you, but you will probably remember stories, especially stories that center around humans. It's human nature that we focus in on stories and and telling stories around human experiences, because that's kind of ingrained in our brain. So we want you to tell a story and also share in that stories how you tied together all the tools and techniques that we introduced, whether it was interviewing. How did you come up with the questions? What kinds of questions did you ask? Did you do any observing? Did you use the AEIOU framework that I shared with you when you did some observations? You created some personas representing key stakeholder groups. I want to see that in your presentation. The point of view, very easy and yet very challenging to do. How did you create a point of view from the user's perspective? We did some empathy mapping. We talked about the user journey. And then, of course, prototyping and testing. The presentation, we want the presentation to be collaborative. We don't want just one person to talk. Everyone needs to participate. The presentation needs to be well polished, within the time limit, and highly effective. Now, again, these are all high standards. I want you to strive for these high standards. Slides are visually well designed, and presentation shows a thorough understanding of the design thinking process. I need to do some grammar checking here. So really, we want you to put on your most professional hat. This is not just some activity at the end of a long program. This is you being professionals, both in terms of design thinking, but also professionals within your organization. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to give you a little help, but I'm going to say something about that. So let me stop sharing here. And I need to share the PowerPoint slides. Okay, so this morning, I shared the slides that I just showed you with some of the desirable outcomes that we want to see in your final presentation. So go to Slack and look at those slides and remember all the things that we would love to see would like to see in your presentation. I also shared a PowerPoint template that comes with Sprint Base. Now, I'm very reluctant to share templates. I'm more of an open kind of educator. I want learners, participants to take responsibility for their learning and explore more the open space, because that's when true learning happens. It's also harder to do. When you give anyone a template, the risk of people staying too close to the template is high, and you limit the learning and the creative work. So as an educator, as a facilitator, as a coach, I always have to think about some kind of balance between open-ended and ambiguous and hard with the potential of great learning, and a little bit more structured, which makes it easier, but also maybe limits some of the creativity and the learning. I think it's always a balance between the two. So I'm going to share briefly with you this template. The template is also in Slack. I want you to be inspired by the template, but I don't want you to just fill in the blanks. That's too easy. We expect more from you. Use your own, build upon this template, use your own graphics, add new slides, change the slides, add an entire new presentation. It's really up to you. You are responsible for your own learning. I'm just giving you some ideas, and I hope that you will go beyond those. So this is very quickly, I'm going to run through this. That's the template. Just to give you some structure for your presentation, they start out with a design brief. What is the project scope and the goals? It's always good. We don't necessarily, we have not necessarily covered all the pieces, the details that are in this template, but that's okay. It's only an inspiration for you. We started out with how might we? The design thinking framework. You want to talk a little bit about that. Here is the more structured approach that we used as we went through the five weeks. Again, you might want to relate to that. You might want to share the process and how your team tackled the process or maybe struggled. It's always good to share your struggles as well. There is the project journey. Here are a couple of slides where you can bring in some of the artifacts that you collaboratively created in Sprintbase, in the workspace using templates, the point of view, the empathy map, some whiteboard prototypes. Make it visual and utilize all the artifacts that you created. Again, I have some team analytics. I'm not going to get into that, but I certainly know who was active on the sprint base, but I'm not going to use that. We talked about extreme users. As you selected the users, who did you decide to interview or observe and why? Who were the extremes? We talked about this. I encouraged you to do that. Some of you really thought hard about the extreme users. Bring that into your presentation. That makes it compelling and also strong. How did you organize your field research? What are the unique insights that you were able to identify? Again, not just plain observations, but really insights that you were able to discover through your empathetic interviews and maybe some observations. Bring in some quotes that support your insights. And also maybe, not only maybe, share some of your personas. Oops, hang on. What did you hear? Your best insights, make it visual, bring in some photos. How did you start with your idea generation process? Bring in some screenshots from Sprintbase. representing the diversity of ideas. And then how did you move from your top ideas to the first round of prototypes? What is your prototype? What was your top one idea? Yeah, okay, sorry, my mouse got a little stuck here. And again, we're not going into the implementation phase, because there are some activities and tools and techniques that will help you to plan for the implementation of your prototype in your organization. But but don't feel that you cannot or should not address some of these aspects. If you have some specific ideas how you might want to implement the first prototype in your organization, maybe the team focusing on the ecosystem with stakeholders, you might want to select one sector and one key stakeholder or key client and start testing your solution with that particular client. So these are some things that you can share in terms of next possible steps. And that's pretty much it. Again, this template is available in Slack. Use it as an inspiration, but we expect that you go beyond the template. So 8:30, 6:30, you have 1.5 hours of group time today. You have Sunday daytime, you have Monday daytime, as well as Tuesday daytime, to really wrap things up and bring all the learnings and findings into your presentation. The time is started. I mean, you have 1 more week. I know this might sound a little like a big challenge. It is a challenge, but you have time. And I really encourage you to work together, make some time during the day and create this very compelling, rich, convincing presentation for your colleagues, but also for the panel and your client, SIDF. That's it. That's my little pep talk for today. So if you have any questions I'm going to open it up a little bit for questions related to the last week, but keep in mind, I'm going to visit each team as well. So if you have specific questions, I think it's better to bring that up when I visit the rooms. But if you have some general questions or thoughts about the remaining 1 week, I'm happy to try and answer them. No, you're all speechless. Let me check the chat. There's nothing in there. Okay, Tim, have I forgotten anything? Not sure if he is there. But I'm going to open up the rooms again. So wrap things up, start thinking and planning for your presentation. Check out again the slides from this morning where I talked specifically about what we want to see in the presentation, and look at the template to get inspired. I'll see you in the rooms. Hey, Tim. Did you?
Sorry, Reinhold, I had a call from the Vice President HR and he sent me a WhatsApp message, but then he followed up with this 36-second video, or not video, but voice recording, and the damn thing kept ringing as it downloaded it, and I couldn't quite understand. So I'll have to go up and see what he wants. I think they've got some announcement that they have to make tomorrow, and they want me to check the English. So.
Okay. Did you
Oh,
hear
sorry,
my pep? Did you hear my
wait a
pep
minute.
talk?
Oh, just a second. Damn it. Oh, I'm sorry, Reinhold. I couldn't hear him, so I had to mute my computer. So I couldn't hear you. And then sorry about that.
No,
Could you-
no, that's okay. But I basically told them, they have 1 week to really put all the pieces together, come up with a compelling presentation. It's professional. This is what we expect. And they are responsible for their own learning. And so, that's all I can do.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Reinhold, the evaluation form that you were going to do for us for the panel.
Yeah. So did you see the slides where I went over what we want to see?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to basically just put that into some kind of document. So it's not I mean, I can create a rubric where they have, excellent, okay.
No.
But that's not what we want, I think. But I can, what I was planning to do today, so that what is today? Today is the evening before the holiday, right?
It's the evening before the holiday.
The evening before the evening. Oh, that's right. Today is Tuesday.
Yeah, we decided to do although the national day is 23rd.
Right.
Because we were afraid that a lot of people, especially the evening class for the 22nd, they wouldn't.
Yeah. So what I will do is I will translate the slides that I shared with you, what we want to see in the presentation. I will create a one-pager, and then I'll share that with you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, like you had that where you had, this is what we're looking for. So you had empathy and then just put those, put those in, but beside them, put a scale of 1 to 5.
Okay.
All right. Because, and one being not so good, 5 being really good.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and the reason for that is because this is how they're used to scoring stuff here. Okay. And they have this thing about, it's a very competitive society. So
yeah, it's hard for them. It's for some reason, for some desirable outcomes, it would be hard for the panel to make a judgment, because I'm not saying that they don't know what empathy is, but
well, the thing is, you've described it. So don't put the word there, that you've described it.
Okay.
So, right. So like, and you actually ask questions. Like you could actually did the team or the group or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just put it on one piece of paper with a scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
At the top, put the program, put a place for the evaluator to put their name in.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, I do that all the time. I just wanted to share it with them in a slide.
No, that's fine. So the thing is, you've communicated what you expect to see from them, and the evaluators are going to also be able to see, did they do it?
That's right. That's right. Little reality check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go off and try to find out what this issue is that I gotta try to deal with.
Yeah. Will you be able, are you planning to join us for the
Yeah,
talk
from
at 8?
from 8 to 9 o'clock? Yes, I am.
But it's
It's
going to
not-
be, as you know, it's going to be on Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I think Irina sent, Irina
Yeah, she
sent,
did. She did send the link.
yeah,
Just to
Okay.
make it more easy, you know.
sure. All right,
Okay,
have a good one. I'll
yeah,
I'll
see
see
you
you
then.
see you a little later. Yeah, bye.
Okay, thank you.